Recording in progress.
Good evening. This is Wednesday, September 11th, Norfolk Conservation Meeting. And we just want to remember what happened 23 years ago in New York and honor those people that lost their lives. Going on to the meeting. In accordance with the provisions of MGL Chapter 38, Section 20, notice is hereby given that the Norfolk Conservation Commission is meeting tonight, Wednesday, September 11th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in Meeting Room 124, 1 Liberty Lane, Norfolk, Mass. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in person at 1 Liberty Lane, or you can use our remote Zoom connection provided. Please note the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the remote connection. Okay, I will accept a motion to open the meeting.
I make a motion to open the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're open. The first item is 19 Keeney Pond, so I'll need a motion to accept need a motion to open the public hearing for this.
Felstone, I make a motion to open the public hearing for 19 Keeney Pond Road.
Is there a second?
Peter Kokind, second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're good to go. John, you're on the line? Okay. Is anybody going to represent Keeney Pond? If not, then Caitlin will discuss her findings.
John is here, so.
Yeah, he was just there.
Just have to see, maybe he's having, get back in view, so give him 1 second. I don't know if it's his camera or,
Maybe we could pause this discussion and move on to one of the action items while we're waiting for John.
That could be good. Shorten the meeting a little bit. Okay, the first one is 11 Pennacook Roads, request for certificate of compliance.
So I can just give a brief update
please
on
do.
that. So the request for certificate of compliance was originally heard at the August 14th meeting. At that time, the disturbed areas were not stabilized, so the commission voted to move the item to tonight. I drove by the site again today and once again found the site to not be stabilized. It appeared that some fresh loam had just been placed and raked out, and I was actually able to get in touch with the applicant, and according to the contractor working on site, it's going to be seeded this week. So I think the best course of action, if the commission is amenable, would be to move this item to the October 9th meeting.
Sounds like a good plan. Is there a motion to do that? Move 11 Pennacook to October 9th at 7:01 p.m.
Al Finney, so moved.
Second?
Peter
Adam
Kokind.
Zucker.
Whoop.
Go ahead.
Adam Zucker, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. John, are you back? Okay, it's on.
yeah, now the light's dark. I'm not sure.
I kind of hear him though.
John?
No,
Oh, I thought he said something.
Or was it Andrew?
Might have been Andrew.
I, Yeah, I did too.
Okay, let's go to 5 Lakeshore Drive as we wait for John. It's a request for certificate of compliance and DEP 240-0665. And it's approved project. Caitlin did a site visit, and your recommendations are to issue, we may issue a full certificate of compliance.
Right. So the project, which involves the construction of an addition and repair/replacement of the existing septic system on site, and some other addition onto the existing rear and front decks. That work took place, portions of the work took place within bordering land subject to flooding, as well as the 200-foot riverfront area. And since it was in land subject to flooding, they had to do compensatory flood storage. So I conducted a site visit September 4th, and I found that the work, including the compensatory flood storage area, was completed in accordance with the plans. All disturbed areas had full vegetative coverage. Everything was stabilized.
What did I say? Oh.
So given all of that, I believe the commission has everything they need to issue a full COC. There's one
John will be here in 5 minutes.
continuing special condition, special condition number 6, which just states this order shall operate as a continuing restriction running with the land.
Okay,
Sorry about that all.
that's all right. At least it was commission-related. Any questions or comments regarding Caitlin's observations, recommendations? Okay, then I will accept a motion for a full certificate of compliance with the one condition being this order shall operate as a continuing restriction running with the land. SC number 6.
Peter Kokinda, so moved.
Is there a second?
Adam
Zucker, Motion.
second.
Jim Wilson seconded.
Says Adam, yeah.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes. Did everybody read the minutes?
We don't
We have them?
We don't have minutes for this meeting.
I was gonna say, I didn't see minutes.
Somebody's slacking.
Wow. Caitlin?
3 demerits.
I had plenty of demerits.
I was gonna say,
Past month.
I didn't see any minutes, so if there were some, I didn't get to read them.
I didn't either.
So that'll just be on the October meeting.
Needed to rebuke Adam a little bit. Okay, Open Space Subcommittee. We're going to postpone the major discussion regarding it, but Jim is going to chair it. We do need one person from Concom to be on it, to help or be part of it. Are there any volunteers?
I'm so overbooked.
Let me see your book.
I didn't bring it today, it was so big.
Hi, John.
Apologize, my computer seized and,
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, sorry, John.
I think Al's schedule's pretty open.
You ran here.
If I can drop the CPC committee.
No.
Oh. What is the time commit?
Probably meet monthly, bi-monthly. It's, once the group gets together and Jim gets all the information that we need to provide them.
Yeah, because I think most of the time, we could almost do bi-monthly, I think, with what we need to cover. And I think the main thing is, once we get up and running, is to determine, I think some of the things that we were talking about here already, about the maintenance, organization of maintenance, and all that whole structure that we've been trying to get behind, that we don't really have the structure set up with Conservation Commission. So kind of
Yeah.
streamline all of that so that we can go to
And part of
Alan and
this,
say, hey, this is what we've got for, CPC, or this is what we need the commission, this is what we came up with. Now we go to the commission, Conservation Commission, and say, hey, we came up with this idea of, we want to focus on this part of this trail this year, or how, what do we do for, do we have a budget where we can have expansion? What projects are Boy Scout projects, Cub Scout projects, high school projects,
Aggie projects?
Yeah, Lions, the Mountain Bike Club.
Okay. The first thing is, once you get together, is there's money put aside to hire a consultant. And that would be, let them do a lot of the work with then the input from the group. And they can, because there's not much to have done with, I think, the current one, but with some updates, as Jim has outlined. But since there's money put aside, it was voted on at town meeting, we should utilize it and hire somebody. Okay, Mr. Whittleton, do you want this chair?
I apologize again for being late. I'm not
That's okay.
computer literate, so must have been me.
I'll get Peter over there.
Push until the daylight.
Are you all set for this?
I'm all set, John.
Gonna talk right into it, yep.
For the record, John Weddleton, 7 Trailside Way. I'm here for a request for determination for 17 Keeney Pond Road. We had a request that we've been working under for the past 3 or so years. I believe it expired a couple of years ago. No customer, so we didn't end up moving forward, but I'm here to apply for another 3-month period for the request, and this lot is on the cul-de-sac, one of the few lots left. Just for the record, it was a gravel commercial area. The farmers hauled gravel out of there, so a lot of the area that we'd be working in was gravel removal, so it was all disturbed. It was actually a path where the trucks would come that ran all the way outside of Keeney Pond, all the way to his house on Grove Street. So
Oh,
I believe you have the plan there that we're inside the 50-foot, outside of the 50-foot no-build zone. And any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
okay. Caitlin?
Oh, one other thing, I'm sorry.
Yes.
We did, through Caitlin's request, we had this all reflagged a
Okay.
few months ago, and they were inspected, so you have the plan.
We're
that's
good to
up-
go with the
That's
flag.
updated.
Yes. So I conducted a site inspection September 4th, and I was able to locate and confirm the accuracy of flags AES 18 through AES 30 as shown on the plan, and AES 31 through AES 50. I was not able to locate flags AES 51 through 54, just due to the thickness of the vegetation out there.
Where would that be?
So that is
Can you point them out,
on the left side, if you're looking at the plan.
Peter? Oh, down in that area, okay.
And while we're on that topic, reviewing GIS and aerial info online, and also historic filings for the preserve at Keeney Pond, and the abutting property, 18 Keeney Pond. I believe there's additional flagging that may need to take place to show the extent of the buffer zone on the site. There's actually a culvert that runs under the driveway of 18 Keeney Pond to convey a stream, and based on the aerials, it looks like there's some fringe wetland off of that stream.
Can you move that plan down so we can, no, the other way?
Or
Up. Which one's 18?
18 is the one directly to the north that has the 20-foot conservation access easement.
Okay,
We had sold that lot. That's got a homeowner living there.
okay.
Another major thing I noted during my site visit was evidence of extensive wildlife activity, including nesting habitats, and those were observed within the wetlands out there, the 100-foot buffer zone, and other remaining portions of the site that are located outside the buffer zone or wetlands. In reviewing historic permit documents for the preserve at Keeney Pond, the observed nesting locations that I saw were consistent with documented nesting locations of protected turtle species. And these were identified by a professional wildlife biologist at Oxbow during the initial phases of the subdivision construction. And I believe I forgot to mention, so the entire site itself is mapped natural heritage, priority habitat, and estimated habitat.
Just to give you a little history on this, we, when filing the subdivision, we had, those lots were both 10 acres or so. So we had I performed a turtle study required by the town. We did a 5-year turtle study, and there were yellow spotted turtles and eastern bucks. So the study followed these creatures for 5 years, noting their nesting areas. We ended up building them a nesting habitat in the back of Lot 18. And as a result, with Natural Heritage, I ended up donating, I think it was a couple 100,000 feet of land, perhaps 30, 40 acres. So right now, the Concom owns all of Keeney Pond, Lower Keeney Pond, which is on the other side of the cul-de-sac, and all that land behind there. So there's a natural habitat and a wildlife corridor between Big Keeney Pond and Small Keeney Pond.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Caitlin?
And just in regards to review of the plan itself, so the proposed limit of work is coincident with the 50-foot no disturb boundary for pretty much the whole site. And the house footprint itself, as well as like the footprint of the proposed driveway, are located only several feet away from that 50-foot no-touch boundary. And as we all know, things happen during construction. So the fact that they're so close to that 50-foot no-touch, I think, is something the commission really needs to consider as far as, meeting whether or not they can determine that this meets, the performance standards and the regulations for both the Wetlands Protection Act as well as the local bylaw.
Since I got the one that expired 2 months ago, We have done no work on that. The area in question has been cleared, so there is no tree removal coming down. We'll just be digging to put the house and the utilities.
Okay.
And so, if the commission were to consider issuing a negative determination, there is no ability to, require that 50-foot no disturb boundary remains untouched. There's there's a lot of legal recourse that the commission would be losing out on, I guess, if they were to consider a negative determination.
So it would be that, put up some kind of markers of where the 50-foot line is?
So under a -3 determination, which is work within the 100-foot buffer zone, the commission is able to require conditions, but the intent of that is not to have a large number of conditions, and to conditions that may extend beyond the life of the project, like such as, the 50-foot needs to remain untouched. It's not an order of conditions that gets recorded at the registry. So once the home is sold, it could be sold again. And, the new owners might not even be aware that there was ever an RDA filing for the property. So I think that, in my opinion, the commission can't ensure that the proposed activities will not adversely impact the wetlands on the site, and they can't ensure that the interests of the Wetlands Protection Act are being protected with the given information that's consistent with this level of permit, and a notice of intent should be filed.
So if we asked for some kind of markers,
Can we
that what
request
you're-
a post and rail fence in that area with signs behind it saying conservation land? Like we have down at the DPW, we have
Yeah.
signs out in the woods, they're white, they've been out there for quite a long time, haven't gone away. That way the public knows that that's conservation land, or wildlife, conservation you put on.
but the homeowner,
That homeowner with this property will see that. They're not going to be blatantly huge,
Yeah.
but it will just let the public know, and let that homeowner know that beyond this fence, you cannot go out there. I don't know if we can request that, or,
I mean, the state has stuff like that.
because markers, the concrete markers, that's a great thing, but you don't see them. Once they get covered with vegetation, they're gone. But if we put just 2 signs up that says wildlife conservation area or conservation land,
yeah.
and John puts up, 20-foot, I don't know what the size, length of feet, but post and rail, so it doesn't look horrible, or even a regular fence of some sort.
Well, just for some history, I've been building in this town for 24 years. I was on this commission for 10 years, of which 7 I was chairman. I have multiple lots in here that have worked up near the 50-foot buffer, and nothing has ever been encroached upon or damaged or removed. What we used to do when I was chairman is, and homeowners can do whatever down the road, and what we used to do is either put boulders up there, something that was done with machines that could not be moved, that sort of denotes that you really can't be cleaning over there unless you go out of your way to get heavy equipment and move things.
Yeah.
And that always seems to
So,
work.
yeah, if you're open to that, putting natural stone up there,
That would be fine.
okay.
Just something to deter people from.
Yeah.
And we have the same issue going on down by Camja.
Yeah.
That road there.
Hanover.
Hanover. The houses are like 5 feet from the swamp.
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be biased here, but I don't want to have John lose a lot
Oh,
because
no, not at all.
he's at the edge of the 50-foot. I
Yeah.
understand
No,
what
not at
Caleb's
all.
saying
Putting
too.
some-
We have to protect it as
Yeah,
well.
putting some
So,
markers up as boulders and some signs out there.
Yeah, that'll,
Town can
yep.
put the signs up and,
We have them down DPW. I don't know what the exact say. I think it's conservation land. It pretty much tells people to stay out.
yeah.
So.
Okay. Any other discussion, comments, questions?
Adam, I thought you had something. Come on,
Well,
jump in.
so we're going to disregard the suggestions of the positive
No.
findings? Or am I?
I guess that's my question is, we're going to issue a positive letter of intent, and then that'll be a condition on the,
So if a positive is issued, that means that a notice of intent for the work would have to be filed.
And at that point, we can
that would be a
ask for-
condition on the
We just put a
LOI.
condition on it that
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's the positive 2B and positive 4 and positive 5. And then John can get going and then file the notice of intent. Okay, with that, I'll accept a motion. To close
just
the
want-
public hearing.
If I could ask one more question, John, when you opened, you said 17. Is it 17 or 19?
It's not.
I'm
Nine.
sorry, 19.
Thank you. Okay. Just want to make sure of that.
Oh, okay. What's 17?
When John opened his
Address.
discussion, he said 17 Keene
Oh,
Pond. I just
oh,
want to make sure it isn't,
Yeah.
that it's 19.
Yeah,
That's all.
okay. All right, okay. Accept a motion to close this public hearing.
Peter Queen is so moved.
Is there a second?
Alstone, I second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. I'll accept a motion to accept the positive determinations as we discussed them.
Al Finney, so moved.
Second?
Adam Zucker, second?
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes.
So I'll be filing a notice of intent, is that the intent?
Thank you, John. You're welcome. Appreciate you coming.
That's where we put the condition, right? On the notice of intent.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't have any other business. Back to the open space, looking for that second person. Think
What?
about it.
What day of the week would it be?
It hasn't been decided.
So it would just be you and one other person on,
No, and then 2 from Recreation.
2 from Rec, okay.
And then 1 from the public.
Okay,
So it's like, it's a 5-person.
okay.
And at that point, you could decide what works for everybody. And Jim will get along with it.
I'm considering it.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to do it right now,
Okay.
but,
I'd
Let's
consider
put-
filling in if you couldn't make one, if you took it and you couldn't make
oh,
one.
Alan?
That's what I was
I could
gonna
fill
say, is
in.
like, I could probably be an alternative or
Okay,
something.
sure.
you know.
Oh,
I just don't want to commit myself to every,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that should be sort of what is written in, is that, yes, we have a designated member, say it's Val, but the chairman of the commission that, or board that the person comes from has the right that if Val is out, to, with his authorization, to replace Val with Al, or Adam, or Peter.
Yep.
So that-
And that would go to Recreation also.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that if one of those 2 people were out,
You don't have a
The-
four.
yeah, so.
yeah.
But, you know, it's the same type of thing that, so that at least is the representation from,
Yeah.
you know, without having to say, well, I'm sorry, you weren't elected to that position, so, or appointed, so you can't come. Well, the whole purpose is to be able to do the best we can for open space is why we,
Yeah.
created the position.
Does this require you to be sworn in by the town clerk for this position?
No, it's
Or is
not.
it, we're already here, so
You're already here,
that covered?
so we just have to vote.
Although so the subcommittee will be subject to the open meeting law. So I assume that they would need to be sworn in following
Oh.
the commission's appointment.
We'll clarify that with Carol.
Yeah,
And
So then,
Yeah.
if someone was to sub in, would we just have to have everyone
We'll have
sworn
them
in?
swear in at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone on the. okay.
Did you have to get sworn in when you went for the
CPC?
CPC?
No,
No?
although I can look into,
because we're not public hearing.
Oh, okay.
We're not on.
I can look into associate members. So say if Val wanted to be the, second designated member, if, you wanted to be associate members,
Preset, then
Yeah.
there is no issue.
yeah, and then, so I
One
think
of
that
the
would
three could
satisfy
come.
the open meeting law, so I'll look into that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Because we're allowed to discuss what happens in that meeting and this.
Yes.
if-
Yeah, that's the whole purpose, is kind of like the open space, David knows as more than I do, but it's more that that's going to be the grunt work, level work, the behind-the-scenes stuff, and then we come back and say, this is what we did for water, this is what we did for trails.
Yeah.
We'll have to come up with sort of a format of, what we do each meeting, so that we can report that same type of stuff back.
and so, yeah, and then, at our monthly meeting, Jim could give an update of, okay, here's where we're at, or no, we haven't met this month, we'll
Like
meet.
CPC, for instance, we've postponed this meeting tomorrow is till next month because we have nothing on the agenda. And you
Yeah.
could do the same thing as well. It's monthly, but postpone,
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of looking at the calendar too of, like for me especially, the first week of back to school, which would be the same for you, is kind of like, that's not a good week.
Yeah, no.
That's not a good month. And, try to look at like, I think we were looking at like Christmas, New Year's is another one that
Yeah, it doesn't
is
work
not
out for
good.
people.
4th of July. I mean, kind of figure out when, the big holidays are if we meet the first of the month.
Yeah.
That, we don't, because we ran into that when the commission had the first Wednesday of the month. We're running into all the holidays.
Yeah.
And it made it tough for support staff,
Yeah.
for anyone to come to the meeting. Now, the other question I had is, who's going to be doing the minutes?
one of your members.
Or me, if,
Are you gonna go?
until, ideally, a clerk will appear who will do the minutes, but, the open meeting law isn't exactly the most
Alan,
user-friendly
Well, we can have
law
whoever
out
was
there.
supposed to do them for last month, for us here do them. That works.
Now, just a thought, if we have money for a consultant, our agent works, I think, only 4 days a week, not 5? But
4 days, yeah.
That's what the town works.
But not,
It's by hours.
right, so if you have extra hours, so if you don't have 40 hours with your position, can she use the other hours as a consultant to another?
Yes, like tonight, it's 39 hours, correct?
31.
31. So like tonight's time, she doesn't get double time like other people. She then takes, might take it tomorrow, those hours off.
All right, so what
Work
if,
a half a day or something,
okay, so what if, say it's an 8-hour-a-month position? I don't know what or whatever it is. Say it's even 8 hours a week. Can we add that on to Caitlin so she get paid an extra 8 hours?
Not at
Like,
this point.
You like my thinking?
Good thinking, but it's not in the budget probably for the
Wait,
most
no,
part.
I
it'd
mean,
be for the
it's
budget. Yeah,
So
it's
that's what I'm
something we
saying
want for
is-
next year, but right now, no, we can't add.
No, I know we can't without
Right?
the
We
budget.
can't give her, anybody overtime, can we?
No.
Yeah.
But I think also too is
And being a
the
professional.
town council would have to look at if we pay somebody, if you work 30 hours for your position, and you work 30 hours at another position in town, is that 60 hours altogether working for the town and puts them at 20 hours a time and a half? Or is it two 30-hour separate positions?
I don't think that has any bearing on this.
So that's another question, but
I don't think so. Because it doesn't have any bearing on this discussion.
no, but I'm saying if Caitlin was an agent and a consultant. So work for the commission and then also work for open space.
I don't know.
So I'm just, asking a question while we're all here.
Well, we don't have money for a consultant. We have money
For engineering.
for the study itself.
Okay.
It's at $17,000. So I don't think it would be enough to compensate her. And so if she wants to attend a meeting, she can, and we'll deal with the hours, but she's not a permanent member, and somebody on the committee will have to be the clerk and take the notes.
Okay.
But, at least at first, I definitely want to be there. And, I'm happy to do the minutes until, the committee is up and running and
Hi, John.
it's been designated.
Hey, John.
He's got it working now.
It looks like a horror flick, doesn't it? It's like chasing somebody.
And the same thing with
He's back.
recreation.
Yeah, I know, I believe there's someone who does the minutes, just strictly does the minutes for the rec board, so maybe that could be an option as well.
We'll look into that
Yeah, I
part
can
of
look
it.
into that with Ann.
Geez, I wonder if Donna Jones is available for doing that.
Oh, she loves volunteering work.
Yes.
Community service,
Sorry.
part of her
Donna.
probation.
Yeah.
You need a public member, that's a possibility. but Recreation has paid staff.
That's right. What's that?
Recreation has paid staff do minutes.
Yes.
How many members? So we're going to have two from Concom, two from Rec, and that's it? Or is there another?
And then public,
In the
Fifth,
public
yeah.
people, okay.
So it'd be 5. So
as long as it's an odd number. I mean, if we
what
get
about,
3 more.
there wasn't any coming from planning or,
Oh, right. Is planning?
I thought,
No, I don't think, no, planning isn't part of it.
okay. So that's just me.
That would be a board that you interface with, and look at, what plans have been out there, the 5-year plans and stuff. So, yeah, the planning board would definitely be somebody that you would be interfacing as you would conservation and recreation.
But conservation and recreation are the two biggest, probably pieces of the open
Yeah,
space
because
that we're
it's
looking
open
at.
space is recreation, passive and active. And this is going to be important because if we get the new prison land at Pond Street, there's going to be major development of it. Passive, and I know recreation wants active, more fields. So this committee can look at that and the consultant and say, okay, here's, the survey and here's what I recommended and stuff like that, so.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to say tonight?
We didn't go over leachate report.
Line by line.
Yes. It was very interesting this month.
How could I pass it up? Would you like to break that down for us?
The leachate report?
Yes.
Yeah, we had no rain and we only were there's only 3 inches in the holding tank, so we're good.
Are you?
Yes.
Do you take pH of the holding tank or
No,
any kind of?
no, we just take measurements of how it fills so that when we have to pump it, that's all.
Oh, okay.
And we haven't had any, we've had 0.50 inches in it for most of the month.
We appreciate DPW's work.
Thank you.
Yes,
I don't
we
have
do.
nothing to do with it, but that's it. Thank you anyway.
On behalf. Barry will be. Okay, If there's nothing else, I'll accept a motion to close this meeting.
Peter Kokinis, so moved.
Al Finney seconded.
Well, let's discuss this.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Meeting is adjourned.